if you look at one of the tweets that I did actually last year, when looking at the policy of the government to allow so-called licensed small-scale mining, I actually did an extensive tweet where I pointed out that maybe we have to reconsider small-scale mining in Ghana, because there's no way a small-scale miner can afford to do it right. How do you do it right? First of all, because of the conflict between the collective good and the personal good, you cannot just simply say, listen, I would like to mine. First, you apply for an exploration license. An exploration license permits you to determine if indeed there are economic deposits in the area where you would like to mine. Once you make that determination, just simply by exploring, not mining, but actually exploring, and it requires some very sophisticated geological and scientific methods to determine the size of the deposit and whether or not it's economic and everything else. Then you prepare what they call a plan of development. A plan of development tells the person that you're going to apply for the mining license from, that first of all, from the society's point of view, you're going to use the most efficient methods in order to mine, so that we will not spend more resources in terms of capital, in terms of labor, in order to get the gold out of the soil. Secondly, that you're going to use a method which doesn't do too much damage to the environment. And therefore you prepare an environmental assessment plan, and you put in mitigation measures to correct any damage that we can foresee can be caused to the environment. It is then and only then that society can give you a license to mine. That is not what is happening in Ghana. Any bozo just simply goes because he's a party member and he's given a license to explore. And the exploration license is being used to actually mine in areas where maybe there is gold, maybe there isn't gold. And unfortunately, it's become almost like accepted that if you hold a license, even if it's just simply exploration license, then you're free to go. And it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable because you are talking to me now about the repercussions. You know, I was in Ghana very recently.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I didn't tell you is that I was very sick. I had been away only for a year. But just simply drinking the water in the central region, not even drinking it actually, using it to cook, using it to brush my teeth. I had a major stomach upset for almost all the time that I was there. That was the click to me that, look, this thing is not, it's not some theory. And you don't have to be in the mining, zone in order to be affected by it. The food we eat, you're telling me about the heavy metals. The water, I mean, just simply by looking at it. And its impact on generations to come. Children being born with heavy metals and developmental retardation and things like that. It's the way we are handling this thing. It's a scandal.
Doc, do you support the calls for a state of emergency to be declared in certain areas?
If for no other reason than the psychological impact that says, look, we're not playing around. I think it needs to be done. Much more importantly, I think we have to call the government to task. I see, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am, that really the government is a little conflicted in its fight against Galamsey. It's not taking it seriously.
What makes you say
On the
that?
one hand, the benefits that clearly the government is receiving, because they're diverting the foreign exchange earnings that would have gone to unofficial channels into the official channels, is doing a lot, right, to help or to stabilize the value of the city, right? So that is one of the reasons why the government is a little conflicted about it. At one level, they're getting all the praise for being able to stabilize this. Actually, first bring it down, and secondly, stabilize it. And third, a lot of foreign exchange earnings. In fact, the government itself, at some point or the other, started boasting that they were looking at 160 tons, right, from gold this year, at which I reacted also on Twitter that could be our death knell, As a result of it, they feel comfortable about buying gold from so-called licensed miners. But a lot of these licensed miners are not even miners. They only are bankrolling Galamsey by buying excavators, by buying pumps and shaft sums, or whatever they call it, and giving it to small people to do the Galamsey, right? And they think they are doing the right thing just because they hold a license. That's unacceptable. They hold a license to explore. They don't hold a license to mine. And I think that the government has to be very clear about it. And it's not even acceptable to say that, well, it's a sacrifice that we have to make. No, it's a sacrifice that we don't have to make.